Hello everyone, my name is TG Plays with the Team Green build team. Today I'll be showing you guys how to make what I can really only describe as a counter. This was kind of made by accident when making the go-kart AI map, but I'll be showing you guys how to make it because I found it to be pretty useful. First we're going to do a player ready system. The way this works is these are each a counter. So basically this is a two counter system or two input system. So when I click this button once, it says player 1 ready, and then I click it again, player 2 ready, then 3, 2, 1, go. So that's one. Then there's a 3 input system. This is actually used in the go-kart map for a lap counter. This is only 2 laps, however, so for example, there's lap 1 and 2, and lap 2 and 2. Why that is, I'll get into it, but there we go, finish. I'll get into why it's 3 counters, but only 2 laps later when we do the tutorial here, but there's lap counting system, and then there's an infinitely repeatable system. This is the actual one used in there. These are both very similar, though. But I'm going to get into how to build these. We're going to go linearly, starting with that one, then moving on to this, and then this infinitely repeatable one. I'll leave timestamps in the description of which one is where, so you can jump to the one you're making, and then we'll go from there. So we're going to get started with the 2 counter system. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to quickly give you guys a tour of this 2 counter system before we get started. So it's broken up into 3 main parts. The output, which is this hook-shaped circuit right here with these 2 pistons and the 2 redstone blocks. The input, which is this blue circuit you see here, and then the actual, well, I guess I can call it the computing algorithm right here in this yellow part. So we're going to build them first from this section here, the output, then the input, and then this part. So let's get into that. Okay, so we're going to get started with our materials here first. As you can see, very survival-friendly design, not many things needed. So what we need is 10 redstone dust, 2 redstone blocks, 9 repeaters, 5 pistons, 1 sticky, and 12 blocks of choice. I am going to color these differently, just, so we can show the circuits, but they could be all the same, and 4 glass. So we are going to start here with this bottom row, right over here. And so you want to place these in a very specific pattern. Redstone in that corner, redstone in the middle, and then redstone in the other corner, followed by repeaters facing that way. Make sure they're facing the way I'm looking right now. Then we're going to complete the hook shape with a repeater facing those, and a repeater facing that with a redstone in front of it. Okay, so now we're going to move on with our pistons. You're going to want to place 1 in front of this redstone and 1 in front of this redstone, like so. Then turn around and place 1 there and 1 there. Make sure you have that 2 block space in between them. Then you want to finish things off with these 2 redstone blocks in front of these 2 pistons. And now you should have a system that looks like this. Okay, now we're going to get started with our input. First thing, place a block of choice between these 2 pistons, 1 block on the leftmost piston, and then go behind the rightmost piston and count 2 blocks back. Then place a temporary block, then a sticky piston on top of the temporary block, and then put a block of choice in front of that sticky piston, and then you can break the temporary block. Okay, now on with the mechanism. First, place a redstone piece in the middle of the 2 pistons and the 2 redstone blocks, like so. Then, a glass block between the 2 pistons, like so. And then, place a glass block on top of the redstone, go up 1, and place 2 glass blocks, like so. Then, we're going to cover all those glass blocks with redstone. Oh, I forgot. Redstone repeater facing this way. Make sure it's facing towards that sticky piston. Like that. Okay, time for the yellow wall. Follow this pattern. Coming from the glass, go 1, 2, 3, and then from the piston, 1, 2. Then place a yellow wool on top of the piston, and then one in that hole there, like so. Okay, now finishing off the circuit, place one redstone dust coming from the glass, then two repeaters, both on full tick delay, going into this block here. Then next to that block, place a single piece of redstone dust, turn around and place one more repeater going into that block, also on full tick delay. Okay, so before we move on to this tutorial here, I'm going to explain why this is a 2-lap counter, not a 3-lap counter, despite having 3 inputs. And this is purely because we're counting laps. Because this input here is going to be lap 1 of 2, then lap 2 of 2, and then finish, obviously. There's technically not 2 laps, there is technically 3 laps. It's confusing. Think of it this way. So let's say this is the starting line right here, right? So before you start, you'd be on lap 0. So you'd cross the line and go into lap 1. Then you'd come around and go into lap 2, but that isn't the finish. So if you're to come around one more time, that would be the finish. Obviously, this is a 3 counter because it counts 3 crosses. Let me make that clear that, I crossed this 3 times, so it counts 3 times. It's just because laps. If you were going to use this for the specific use I'm using it for, that was a tongue twister. If you're going to use it for that, just keep that in mind. Have the lap count 1 less than the counters. Now onto the tutorial. Once again, a quick tour of the circuit. So as you can see, we have the input here, the output here, and then the actual circuit here. So, pretty simple build, very similar to that one over there. I won't be including the command blocks again, so let's just get into it. Okay, once again, onto the materials. We need 19 redstone dust, 13 repeaters, 3 redstone blocks, 8 pistons, 2 of which being sticky, 18 blocks. Again, I'm going to color these so it's easier to see, but these can all be the same. And then 8 glass. This needs to be glass. Make sure it's glass. Okay, once again, starting on this bottom row, you're going to want redstone in this corner, redstone in this corner, then every other block here, you want redstone, and then repeaters facing this way. Okay, then we're going to complete the hook design with a repeater facing this way, redstone dust, and a repeater facing this way. Okay, now we're going to place the pistons. We need 1 piston in front of this redstone, 1 piston in front of this redstone, and 1 piston in front of that redstone. And then turn around, leave that 2 block space here, piston there, and a piston there. You can see these are all 2 blocks apart, make sure that is the case. And then cap everything off with a redstone block in front of those pistons, like so. Okay, time for the input. So we need wool between these pistons, block on the leftmost piston, like so. Repeaters going this way, this time I did not forget. And then go behind here and count 2 blocks back, place 2 temporary blocks, sticky pistons, break the temporary blocks, 2 blocks of choice on those pistons, and you should have something that looks something like this. Okay, now onto the circuit. You want a redstone dust here and here between all these pistons and redstone blocks, like so. And then we're going to do the same glass formation. You need a glass between the pistons, glass on top of the redstone, go up 1, place 2 glass like that. Should have a formation like this. Then place redstone on top of the glass like this. And now onto the final part, the yellow wool. All I need is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 coming from the glass like that. Then 1, 2, 1, 2 coming from the pistons. Then 1 on top of each piston, 1 on top of each hole, and there's the rest of the blocks you're going to need to place. We just need some more repeaters and redstone. Okay, now on to the final redstone placements. We need 2 redstone dust coming from these 2 glass pieces, 2 repeaters going into these blocks on full tick delay, redstone dust between those 2 blocks, and then 2 repeaters coming into those blocks. Okay, so for this last one, I'm obviously going to have to explain as to why this is an infinitely repeatable one. And as you can see, I have tried to color code this one. You have the green, which is the input system. Then you have the blue, which is the one you'd repeat. And then the red, which you'd use to cap it off. Now these are expanded out here, but first I'm going to show you basically how this works. Very, very similar to both these two. Almost the exact same. But here, so cross the line once. Lap 1 and 3. Just like so, same thing. Cross the line again. Lap 2 of 3. And finally lap 3 of 3, and then finish. So as you can see, works basically the same, just extended. The difference is this one, this blue section, you can repeat infinitely. And that is actually, I've used this to make this here. As you can see, this is just the same thing, but the blue section is repeated. I think that is 9 times if I remember correctly. Basically, it is the same thing. Right? You have the green start section, that's over there. Then you have the same exact blue section. I used concrete powder for this so you can differentiate them. They're the same system, as you can see. It looks like copy pasted. And then at the end, there's this red section that just basically caps it off. And if I press the button here, that is lap 1 of 10. Now I'm going to speed this footage up, so you're probably still hearing my voice normally, but I'm just pressing the button very quickly in the video. But I'm going to press this button all 10 times. And there we go. Yeah, so it's much longer of a count. These are 11 counters because, again, 10 laps. I explained how that works. But, yeah, it's complicated, but I'm just going to show you guys how to build these individual parts this way. You can extend it as far or as small as you want. You could have a simple 4 system, which is this one, which is the smallest variant. Or this onward. You can have this go infinitely into the horizon if you wanted to. You can have a 1 million counter if you really wanted to. But basically how this works is you just build this, and then you'd build this next to it, and then you just repeat building this for every time you want to add a counter, and then you'd add one more here with this end cap. So let's get into how to build each of these 3. Okay, so we're going to get started here. I'm going to show you guys how to build all of these at once. Obviously, we're going to start on this end, move our way to this end, but we're not going to have any cuts or anything. So, we're going to start with the materials for the start here. You're going to need 9 redstone, 6 repeaters, 2 redstone blocks, 5 pistons, one of which being sticky, 11 blocks. Again, I'm coloring them, but they don't have to be colored. They could all be the same, and 4 glass. So, we're going to start over here. Redstone dust on this corner, then repeater, then another bit of redstone dust. See, there is no hook because the top of that hook would be on that end since you're moving all these together. So this is it for that bottom part. So we're going to move on with our pistons. One there, and one there, one there, and one there. Remember that 2-block gap. Redstone blocks on the top of the pistons. Okay, moving on to the input circuit. You'll have your blue wool between the 2 pistons. Block on the leftmost piston there. Count back 2. Place a temporary block. Place a sticky piston on top of that block. and place one more block on top of that, like so. And if you want, you can move the input here. This is where the input would be if you want to place a button there to test it. It wouldn't be ready to test now. I would wait till all this is done. Have not mentioned that for the previous ones, but if that's what you want to do, then do that. Okay, moving on, you got your redstone dust here, glass here, glass here. Oh, forgot again. Repeater facing this way, like so. Okay, back to the glass, up one, cross one, redstone on top, and then leading off of that glass, go 1, 2, 3, then off the piston, 1, 2, block on top of the piston, block on top of the wool, redstone coming from the glass, repeaters on full tick delay, 2 of them, redstone dust next to that block, and 1 more repeater on full tick delay. And there is your start. Sorry for moving a bit quick through that one. I want to make time for 2 of these. So, hopefully if you needed something, you paused it through that, but we're going to move on to this middle one. Materials, I'm going to keep what's in my inventory, because it's generally the same. This might look generally, more cost-effective, but remember, this is multiplied, each of these, by the amount of times you're going to use them. But for a single one, I'll quickly go over them. You're going to need 8 pieces of redstone dust, 5 repeaters, 1 redstone block, 2 pistons, 1 sticky piston, well, 3 pistons, 1 being sticky, and then 9 blocks. Again, they are colored, and 4 glass, as per usual. So, continuing right along, redstone in this corner, repeater over here, then we're only going to need to place down 2 pistons here, and that is that one, and that one. Leave the 2 gap, redstone block on the top of that one, and then your blue wool right there, and repeater into that before I forget, but you want to go 2 behind this, place the block, sticky piston, like that. This is what you should have right here. Then next to this, because there's nothing in place in between now, between these 2, redstone block and piston, place your redstone, then glass, then, blanked, then glass on top of that redstone, like so. This should start looking familiar now. Up 1, across 1, fill the top of that with redstone, and then from the glass, 1, 2, 3, from the piston, 1, 2, block on top of the piston, block on top of the hole, and then same deal for this top part here. Redstone coming from the glass, 2 repeaters on full tick delay leading into this block, redstone dust next to that block, and 1 more repeater leading into this block. And here is your middle circuit. You will repeat this as many times as you want here to complete the circuit, or if you just want the simple 4, you'd have to build this next to that and build the following step next to this. Pretty simple. Finally, we're gonna go to our last, I guess you could call it the cap. And for this, again, you're gonna need 10 redstone dust, 8 repeaters, a single redstone block, 3 pistons, once again, 1 being sticky, 9 blocks of choice. They could all be the same, or they could be different colors, and 4 glass. Okay, so we're gonna start on this end once again. We need alternating redstone, as per usual. Alternating repeaters, just like that. Then repeater facing this way. This is going to be at the top of our hook. Redstone dust behind that repeater, and then a repeater facing into that redstone dust. Now, once again, we only have 2 pistons, 1 here, and leave that 2 block gap, 1 there. Block redstone on that piston. Then 1 blue wool next to the piston. Go back to, like that. Place your temporary block and your sticky piston, and 1 block of choice on the face of that piston. Now, repeater leading onto this final piston over here. And then, same deal as with that, you want the redstone block next to and between these 2. Then, block of glass there. Block glass on top of there. Up 1, cross 1, line the top of the glass with redstone. Like so. And then, finally, 1, 2, 3 coming from the glass, 1, 2 from the piston, 1 block on top of the piston, and 1 block leading from the glass on top of that hole. Then 1 redstone dust coming from the glass, 2 repeaters going into this block, redstone next to that block, full tick delay by the way, and 1 repeater going into this block, and that is everything. I am sorry if I went through that really quickly. I tried to get as little time in as possible. But if you missed something, go back, double check, pause the video if you need to. But that should be everything. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this helped you with your map making. And see you guys next time. Goodbye.